Hello and welcome to another episode of the Leo Alves podcast. And in today's podcast episode, if I'm not mistaken, this is episode 200. I think that's just a coincidence. I got a guest on with me here today, so Jeff Pachtman. He was here for, I think, twice between episodes like 40 and 70. And so here we are again. It's been about 130 or so podcast episodes later, and I thought, you know what, it's overdue. Another chat with Jeff. So here we are. I'll let Jeff introduce himself, assuming that the listener haven't listened to the other episodes with him on, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Leo. Appreciate you. So my name's Jeff Pachtman. I'm a online strength and nutrition coach. Been coaching online now full time since 2021, but I've always had a passion for nutrition and fitness ever since I was in my probably my teenage years. And I used to struggle with my weight. Used to struggle with uh trying different diets, trying stupid stuff, trying keto, intermittent fasting. I even did a vegan keto diet at one point. I was vegan for 2 years. I tried all different kinds of stuff to see what would work, not only just for weight loss, but overall just trying to like get healthy and find a better lifestyle for myself. And no matter what I did, I always seemed to lose the weight, feel better, feel healthy, think I found this like amazing, incredible solution in these extreme diets. And then I would usually find that they would end up leading me towards saying screw it because it was unsustainable. And then I would end up going back to my old habits and behaviors and feeling like I was failing. And so this caused my weight to yo-yo and fluctuate up and down like crazy. And so in in tw from 2014 to 2016, I lost over 70 pounds, and I've been able to like keep that off, build muscle, and stay like relatively lean from there. And it's been good. I've been healing my relationship with food ever since, became a coach to help other people do the same. And yeah, man, it's doing the online coaching, content, fitness stuff. It's been a roller coaster ride, but I I'm eternally grateful that I gave it a shot and that it worked because I didn't think it was going to. So, yeah, grateful to be here.
That is one of the best intros I've had in a while, man. Like your podcasting experience shows a lot of people will just say, I don't know what to say, and then probably say about two sentences, and then the conversation carries on, which is okay. But yeah, I love the context. Um, but yeah, no, it's awesome that it worked out for you in regard to the online coaching and going into that full time, because I don't think a lot of people realize it, and obviously I'm speaking from my being able to relate with you. But when you go into the world of like freelance, it's risky. Like you
Yeah,
don't really know if you've not done it before. Well, most of the time, like generally speaking, like if this is your first time, you've not done it before, there's not like a clear roadmap. That's where mentors and can come in as well. But it's just like a uncharted territory almost. Like, is this going to pay off? Is this not? Like, am I going to? And then money fluctuates as well, especially like at the start. So like man, like I have a lot of respect for anyone who can pull that off. So big props to you.
absolutely, man. I mean, I used to charge $100 a month for online coaching, and back then I was nonstop on the phone with my clients, and like I would call them, I would text them. I like if I wouldn't answer their text, I thought they were gonna like fire me as a coach, and so I was like way over delivering for that $100 a month. Because I wasn't sure, like, how much should I charge? What do I do? Like, do I do email? Do I do texting? Do I do this? Do I do that? And I wanted to just help people succeed. That was my number one goal. And, through taking on people for free, taking on people for $50, $100, whatever they would give me, it really taught me how to become a coach and how to care and not just treat people like a number. And so I feel like I've been able to maintain that even though my business has grown. I feel like I've been able to maintain that personal touch with my clients, it's just like it's just so cool that we actually get to connect with our clients, and it's not just like I'm talking to my bookkeeper, my tax person right now this time of year, and it's like I only talk to her once a year. And so it's only about taxes. There's no real personal stuff. She doesn't know a whole lot about me. It's just like it's strictly business, and then I'll call her next year, and the relationship that I have with my clients is we talk every single week, if not every day. So it's just cool that we can build these relationships, helping each other, and yeah, man, like what a gift. Even if I was making way less money, I would still be super grateful to have the freedom and flexibility and be able to help people, and that's like that to me is better than a guaranteed 9 to 5 job, health insurance, 401(k), all this other stuff. Like I get to wake up and choose, hey, what do I want to do today? How can I get creative? How can I create something that's going to help people?
Yeah, yeah, it's a lovely feeling, and I like how you mentioned the part about not just being just a number, because I've been on, I think, both ends of that coaching experience where I felt quite connected to the coach, and then on the other end where I was like, yeah, I am definitely just just another, I don't know,
Yeah.
client to this person, because I remember just receiving workout programs, and this was for one-to-one coaching that had
Yeah.
equipment and exercises that I specifically mentioned I wouldn't be able to do and or wouldn't be able to use. And I really just remember a bit that being quite off-putting and just making sure I would never ever do that. That was before I started being a coach. But yeah, that I just remember thinking, yeah, I look back at that and just like I never want to end up doing that. That's annoying. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
one thing I wanted to quickly mention as well is I wanted to just say thank you very much for buying my book, because I saw that you bought it and you even uploaded it on your story, which is very nice of you. You didn't have to do that. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you very much, because that was a
Course,
really,
man. Dude, gotta support my boy, man. If I have a friend who creates something like a book, like I gotta support, like that's a lot of work, man. And I'm like brainstorming ways that I can kind of do the same, and I'd like to one day have some sort of book or like physical product that could potentially help a lot of people. So I mean, the fact that you did it and that, your launch went good and you launched it, you put it out there, like that's amazing, dude. So yeah. Props to you, man. To be honest, I haven't dove into it yet, but I'm excited to.
yeah, it's yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, the support is appreciated, and yeah, it's always great to just yeah, support your boys, as you said. I try and do the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's no, it's great to see. And um even yeah, that whole process, like I would recommend it. Is it long? Yeah. Is it for most people? No. If you really want to do it, I think, yeah, just go for it eventually whenever you feel like you're ready. I always just told myself, like, all right, before it was arbitrary, but I was like, before I'm 30, I want to make sure I publish one, because I first came up with the idea when I was 23, but I was like, I don't know enough. And I knew that at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I got it out. And Jordan Sire and Mike Vacanti were nice enough to put a little,
I
I don't
saw
know what,
that. They put a,
yeah,
a blurb on the back. Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah, that was a lovely surprise. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to talk about too much about my book. Thank you very much. Link in bio, link in the show notes if you want to grab your own
Go get the
copy.
book. Go get the book, guys. Go get the book.
Anyway, one thing I wanted to speak about, I thought I'd mention as well, is that TikTok shutdown was quick, wasn't it?
Oh my God, man. Yeah, that happened so fast. And the worst thing is that the CapCut video editor is gone too, which like if people don't know, that's what a lot of us creators on social media, we use that to edit our videos because it's free and it's an amazing video editing tool that you could do on your phone. And that's gone somehow. And so TikTok today, as of today, January 20th, which I don't know when this is gonna be uploaded, but like as of today, TikTok's actually back up. It's
Yeah,
working again.
in the US.
So yeah, and there was a message that popped up. I'm not gonna get like whatever, but like there's a message that
Do
popped up
it,
when I
get it.
signed in, and it was like thanks to President Trump, TikTok is back on, or t TikTok is back live, and like that's the message that came up on my screen. I'm like, dude, what is this? This is crazy. We live in such a crazy time.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, I wasn't getting the message personally because I'm not located in the US.
Yeah, but you
But
saw it.
yeah, I saw it all over social media. I find it hilarious how it instantly became a meme template for many people. That's just how the internet is. That message. But
You made a
I
post
was
that
one of
was
them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I
yeah
finally had time
yeah
to.
you're a meme creator, bro. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. That was. But I did. My wife, her phone is like her app store is still based in the US, so it popped up for
Mm,
her. So I did see it. Um, Hypothetically, obviously now it's back in the US, as you said. Um, Um, but let's say like hypothetically speaking, so we're gonna get into hypotheticals now. Uh, do you think let's say TikTok did say stay shut down and it obviously wasn't coming back. Let's forget CapCut for a moment because that's another
hmm
story. But yeah, let's say TikTok did shut down, it wasn't coming back. Do you think that would have had any impact, however that might be negative or positive, on like the health, the fitness, the nutrition space at all? Or do you think it probably wouldn't have made a difference?
Oh, dude, 1000%. 1000%. Like my algorithm at least, and I've never like gone on somebody else's phone and used the app, but on my phone on TikTok, I get such good nutrition and fitness content. Like it is way better than the Instagram content that I get. It's more nuanced. Some of them are like 3 to 5 minute long videos, and I find that the younger generation, they were the ones like really absorbing evidence-based information from TikTok. Like I can name off a bunch of TikTok creators in the fitness space that actually were like super amazing content that's evidence-based. Like and uh and they're younger, but they're following in the footsteps of people like Jordan Syed or Mike Vacanti or Mike Matthews or Lyle McDonald, Alan Aragon, like all the well, whoever, it's even if like they watch Jeff Nippard videos and they take his advice on training or whatever, it's like that's great. That's he uses science, he uses data to make his videos, right? So I think that there was a lot of good information on TikTok, and I think that that is going to affect how people consume content because I find there's a lot more BS on Instagram than there is on TikTok, and maybe that was just my algorithm, but yeah, that's what I saw from it. I actually saw a bunch of good content on TikTok.
Yeah, that's interesting that I like how you specify your algorithm. That is a good point to bear in mind. Yeah, I've found some great creators on TikTok as well, like in the health and fitness space. Yeah, I don't know. It's quite interesting that you say that because with me, I find it harder to give a response because I my TikTok screen time isn't that high. I'm
Yeah,
more like I use Threads quite a bit. I use Instagram quite a bit. Twitter, I think I used to use it more, less so nowadays, just because I think it's shit now. I think
yeah,
it's just not the same. Um, yeah, but I still use Twitter because I like the written based platform and it's just very easy copy and paste. So yeah, and I always find out when I go on Twitter, like there's just so much like very like polarizing content that
yeah.
by the time I'm off the app, I'm just like, phew, that was a shit show. And I've just been like on my sofa the whole time and I'm like, I should not be feeling like that. Like
Yeah, you just have like massive
that weirded
either
out.
dopamine or massive anxiety about the content you just consumed. Yeah, that's why, dude, that's why social media can be so dangerous because like you're sitting on a couch, but you're getting like a fight or flight response from reading something that somebody wrote that are just like the inner workings of their mind. And it's
Yeah.
just like, man, that's heavy. That's heavy stuff to be doing on like, while you're taking a poop on a Sunday morning at 9 a.m., you know? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I only get that with the Twitter algorithm nowadays. Like, so it's an interesting observation. So I just try. Like yeah, I don't know. Even it doesn't matter how much I put like not interested in a specific subject,
Yeah.
those specific subjects still come up. So I don't know
Mm,
what's going on there. Um, but
yeah.
yeah, TikTok. I don't use. Oh, were you gonna say something?
No, no, I was just gonna say like for me anyways, like politics and
You
things like
knew.
that, like politics and social issues, like I feel like that stuff is way more prevalent for my algorithm on Twitter than it is on Threads or anywhere else. And if I see that stuff, I generally like don't click on it because I'm just like I don't want the algorithm to start feeding me that stuff. So I purposely don't watch the news. I'm
Same.
ignorant. I don't watch the news. I don't know really what's going on until like somebody tells me, and like to be honest, I just try to live day by day in the moment, and maybe that people can think a certain way about that. Um, but yeah, I mean, I really try to not consume that sort of content.
Same. Yeah, and I love how you knew it was like a lot of it was political content. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah, so I think everyone's getting shown similar stuff. But yeah, I even like I've muted a bunch of words as well. That doesn't seem to have made a difference. I muted Democrat, I muted Republican, I muted everything you can think about on both sides and still
Yeah.
get shown it. Just like so it's really interesting that algorithm, how it's working right now. Um but yeah, as I said, easy copy and paste, and I do like written based platforms, some more than others, as you probably could tell from the last 10 minutes. Um, and I don't want to stop using it because like my last few one-to-one online fitness member inquiries have nearly all been from Twitter. So there's that as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so and I don't even have a big following on there, which is what I find even more interesting. It's probably the platform with the smallest following that I have. So that's quite interesting. Um, yeah, but yeah, TikTok, that was such a long roundabout conversation that we just had to say the TikTok, I don't use it enough to really have a response as to whether I think it will make a difference
Yeah.
in the health and fitness space. But yeah, definitely the younger generation were absorbing a lot of the stuff on there, as you said, because my brother is 14 right now, and even he would send me content like a video on TikTok sometimes asking me what I think, and sometimes it was complete bullshit, but other times I was like, you know what, that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's exactly like the younger crowd is who I mainly see using that platform. So now a lot of them are going to start coming to Instagram, and I think we're going to see. Well, I don't know actually. I think TikTok's still going to be pretty big. I think if anything, it might even get bigger. So who knows? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I would be quite interesting to see the ripple effect now, with everything that's happened. Obviously, like for the first time in probably forever, like in a actually probably since it started being TikTok, like a president of the US has openly been like, let's have TikTok. Like this is the first
yeah,
time, so I'd be quite
yeah,
interested to see how, what if that changes anything. Again, it's just one country out of many, worldwide who use TikTok, but the American, the American user base is undoubtedly quite large, so it's still going to have a massive, ripple effect regardless. So yeah, I'd
yeah.
be quite interested in to see if that does make a sort of difference.
Yeah, it's funny, I think not like I mainly use TikTok uh for recipe stuff. Like I used to be a chef and like what my algorithm shows me is like super amazing recipe and like chefs and creators on there and I'm just like that stuff is amazing to me. And so TikTok knows that and it either shows me pickleball stuff because I'm obsessed with pickleball or it shows me cooking content, and those are the two things that like make me super happy. So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I was fine with the app. Everyone's talking about how toxic social media is. It's like I'm getting fed golden retriever content because I have a golden retriever, pickleball content because I play pickleball, and cooking content because I've never loved anything more than cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's good
Yeah.
I know you're really passionate about that. Yeah, the algorithm on TikTok is like it's definitely different to like Instagram Reels or Facebook Reels, definitely than YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts, I don't know about you, but it's weird. Um,
It's super dopamine-y, like it's very fast paced and like super edited. Dude, I can't do the YouTube reel or yeah, YouTube shorts. I can't, I don't know. Like that algorithm for me, it's not I don't ever scroll it.
No, same. I did it yesterday because my wife got a new iPad recently, and I was just like we were setting up everything like her. So logging into YouTube, for example, just saw
Yeah.
shorts for a few seconds and I was like, what is this? This is weird. I can definitely see the younger generation getting quite addicted to that.
Yeah, yeah, that seems like who they're targeting is like the Mr. Beast style videos.
Yeah, I don't know what the
Yeah.
whole like I said, but the TikTok algorithm is quite different to like the Facebook and Instagram ones. I don't know how I would explain it's different. I just you can just tell it's different. Um,
Mhm.
yeah,
I think the algorithm's better, dude. Like I really think the algorithm on TikTok is better. I think that they have found something to keep their users on the platform way longer because I'll find that I'll stay on TikTok way longer than on Instagram. Like Instagram, I lose interest very fast unless it's my content. I'm very much when I'm on Instagram, I'm very much in create mode, not consume mode. When I'm on TikTok, I'm in consume mode, not create mode. It's very interesting.
so do you think that's why you stay on TikTok much longer, or do you think maybe there's something else?
Yeah, probably because Instagram feels more like work to me. And so, like, TikTok's more of a distraction. I'm like, oh, yeah, cooking videos, content, like pickleball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point as well. One thing, did you have anything else you wanted to say about all of that before I
No, I think I think it's just a shit show, really. Like, oh, we're banning it, we're not banning it. Like, just make up your mind, you know? Like, if we need to find a new place to make content, whatever, then like let us know. Don't just freaking ban an app because whatever reasons. Like, I don't know. I just think it's stupid. And who knows if the whole thing was just a marketing ploy anyways for like either for TikTok or for the president or who knows, dude, because now the president looks like a hero because he brought TikTok back. Like who knows? So I it's just weird. It's just the whole situation is just weird.
It's an interesting one as well, especially
Yeah.
like watching it from afar. That's why I've been
Yeah.
like quite curious to hear the next American I speak to who like her opinion. Um, yeah, so like based on everything we've been talking about, like algorithms, social media, health and fitness content, reels, videos. Right now, like, what do you think are the topics, or maybe what do you know? Like, maybe it's not even think so much. Like, what do you feel like are the hottest speaking points right now, in, like the health, the fitness, nutrition space? I think it might be quite interesting to speak about some of them. I have my thoughts, but I'd love to hear yours. Like, whether it's right or
Yeah,
wrong.
I think it's funny, man. I made a video a while back. It's still getting comments on it, and it was I made a reel and I was saying that I had a client who came to me and she was eating 1,200 calories and couldn't lose weight. When I increased her calories up to 1,800, she instantly started dropping body fat. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, she was in starvation mode or her metabolism was slowing down. So when I increased her calories, her metabolism sped up. And so there's still this theory of starvation mode, where if you don't eat enough calories, your body holds on to stored body fat. And what I said in this reel is it wasn't the fact that she was eating 1,200 calories, it was the fact that she wasn't consistent or tracking those calories accurately. And so when increased her calories, she psychologically stopped cheating on her diet because I gave her the freedom to basically say, here, eat way more food and it's gonna work. And she was more consistent and she was able to drop some fat. And so um and so everyone on that video started commenting, no, starvation mode is real. You don't know what you're talking about. Da 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 da. And so, I mean, to this day, that video has almost 1,000 comments of people who are just pissed at me for making that video. And yeah, so that's still a huge one is starvation mode. This theory that your body will somehow create body fat out of nowhere. Um, I don't know where that comes from. That's a big one. A huge one right now is Red 40 with the US is banning Red 40. Another huge one is seed oils. That's huge right now. The the whole food movement in the US is crazy. Like people only eating whole foods, only eating food off of cutting boards, only eating like steak, avocado, a kiwi, and like putting that on a cutting board and being like, see, this is how I eat because I'm an athlete and I'm super optimized. And it's just like, dude, I don't know anybody that eats like that. And I'm all for whole foods. Like I love me some steak and potatoes and some broccoli. Like if it's cooked well, I'll eat that every single day. The thing is like I'm also gonna say yes to that blueberry lemon scone at my favorite coffee shop because that makes me happy. And as long as my diet is mainly the good stuff, then I think throwing in some pastries or a protein bar or whatever, it's like it's not gonna fucking kill me. And so I think that that's a big one right now as well. Is this Whole Foods only movement, which I think is like borderline orthorexia.
And
What about you? What kind of stuff have you seen lately?
well, first, I want to comment on some of what you said, but I will add to the list first. I'll add to it. I, raw milk.
Yeah,
Everyone's talking
dude,
about
yes.
fucking raw milk right now.
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah, people are stepping. I don't even know what to say to that one. I felt like you made.
That's you gotta be seriously, that's a huge risk to start drinking raw milk, dude.
You know
Like how
what?
many of these people are just on the toilet all day?
It's natural selection, right? Um, what is to be honest, any right now that's really big. Do you think carnivore's dying down? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Carnivore is still
I
big. I don't know if it's at its biggest.
I think since the carnivore MD started adding more fruit and like vegetables, no, he was like, vegetables are killing you, fruit is killing you, and now he's realizing that like, oh, I do need carbs and I need fruit and I need vegetables, and so now he's adding all that stuff back in, and it's
And
like,
honey.
how can you believe a fucking word this guy says?
Yeah, I agree. And still doesn't want to. I've heard that he doesn't want to pull his book off the shelves though, because I'm sure it makes a lot
Oh
of
my
money.
God.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, those two things come to mind. I would have said seed oils as well. You already said that. Um, nothing else is really coming to mind. I am definitely sure there is more, but I feel like I'm sure the listener right now is probably like screaming at us, being like, "How are you forgetting X, Y, and Z?" Like, but yeah,
There's also a lot of training stuff that is that's getting really popular too. Like I know the stretch mediated hypertrophy is really big. Mobility training is like crazy taking off right now. Like I don't know where this like mobility movement came from, but it came out of nowhere. And now like all I see on my Instagram reels are like try this mobility hack if you have lower back pain. And it's just like I'm all for people being more mobile and doing mobility work, I think is amazing. But doing like this one exercise is gonna fix your knee pain forever. It's like, no, there's no one exercise that's gonna fix everyone's knee pain. Like, there's
yeah.
so it's just kind of crazy. But I mean, I'm all for people trying new movements and seeing if it helps.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and even just to add to that, like, how can you even know if what someone's knee pain is? Like, two people could have knee pain,
Yeah,
but for very different reasons, and they're going to need different.
totally.
So, but anyway, to go take a back step on what you were saying, I wanted to comment on a few things you said. First of all, the starvation mode thing. I think it's absolutely wild how many people still believe starvation mode is a myth because I even made a
Dude.
post on it on Threads. I think it was in the past month sometime, and I got a good few comments. Talking about how it is a real thing and how I am like just like sarcastic comment. Obviously, a lot of people were agreeing with me, and it got quite a good few likes, but like a lot of sarcastic comments, basically giving the impression that I'm stupid for disagreeing with the fact that one can gain body fat while they are in a calorie deficit, which is yeah, just uh
Do you think they're confusing metabolic adaptation for
yeah,
starvation mode?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
do.
that's what what from based on the comments that I'm seeing, they are confusing metabolic adaptation for starvation mode. And so they're saying like, well, if you eat less calories, your body will burn less calories. And then eventually like your body will just be stuck at that number. As if I decided tomorrow to only eat 1,200 calories for like a month, I would lose a bunch of body fat. I'd probably lose some muscle too, and depending on what my other habits look like. But at the end of that deficit, when I bring my calories back up, my body is going to be fine. Like my metabolism is going to be fine. Um, and so the metabolic adaptation is only temporary. It's only temporary while you're in the deficit. And a lot of that people think is metabolic adaptation is them just getting a little bit sloppy with their deficit, right? It's like it happens to me. If I'm in a deficit for a long time, I start to, oh, I'm not going to track this coffee creamer. Oh, I'm not going to track this handful of almonds. Oh, I'm not going to track this little chocolate, you know. And then at the end of the day, there goes like 500 calories I didn't track. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's like it's that's not metabolic adaptation. That's just you're getting sloppy and less consistent with your tracking.
Yeah, no, I agree absolutely with both things you've said. Um, People are definitely getting confused with metabolic adaptation. That's actually something I mentioned in my book about starvation mode, and like you're getting confused with that. So it's a
Yeah.
great point that you've pointed out. And then yeah, people just naturally become less consistent over time is a great point as well. Yeah, I feel like yeah, I'm trying to think of an analogy that I heard, but I'm gonna butcher it so bad that I'm not gonna say it. But yeah, people do get less consistent because like even I can't even think of a story now. Like I remember I have a one-to-one online fitness member, and when I first met her back in 2020, Irish lady, lovely lady, and I remember she was like, "Oh, Leo, every time I feel like I make a good amount of progress, I feel like, before I know it, I feel like I'm almost back at square one again, and I just feel like I'm in this cycle of making progress and then and then going backwards, and you know." I don't know why it's really happening. So, I bear that conversation in mind. We spoke about it a bit, and later that day, or later that week, I remember we had another conversation. She was like, "Yeah, every time I feel like I'm making progress, I do start to like to enjoy dark chocolate a bit more." And then I was like, "Oh, there it is." That's what I was thinking in my head. That's what's going on. And based on my experience, it's not just the dark chocolate that's starting to sneak in in increased quantities. There's other stuff in there as well. Because what she said was, yeah, when I feel like I'm making progress, I feel like I can start being more flexible. And then we obviously had that, that discussion. So and that happens a lot to many people.
How did she do after that? Like when you brought that to her attention?
Yeah, it was a light bulb moment. Yeah, she
Yeah.
was like, oh, that actually makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for for a lot of my clients, it's like I was like I had this one client, this is a funny story. I had this one client. I was like, you're only eating 1,600 calories. She was super active. She was like 18,000 steps a day sometimes. She was doing cardio, CrossFit, all these things, and she's only eating 1,600 calories, and the scale was not moving at all. I'm like, the scale should be flying. You're so active, you have muscle, like you've got a good amount of body fat to lose. Like the scale should be flying right now. And something's going on. And I was like, we need to take a look at your food logs. So she let me check out her MyFitnessPal, and I saw this meal in there. and it was 3, 4 times a week for lunch. It was chicken breast and 100 grams of flour. And that was it. That was all that was tracked. Okay. And I said, "What is this meal? Are you are you eating chicken breast with a side of flour? What is this?" And she's like, "Oh no, it's this delicious fried chicken that I make." And I'm like, "Okay. Like, what are you cooking this in? Like, how are you cooking this?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I just been like cooking it up in some olive oil." And I'm like, so you're taking chicken breast, you're dredging it in flour, and you're deep frying it in olive oil? And she's like, well, yeah. She's like, but it doesn't absorb all the oil, like all the oil is still left in the pan. And I'm like, no, that is not how that works. That is not how that works. The oil is absorbed into the flour and the chicken. That's what makes fried chicken so delicious. And I was like, have you ever had baked chicken? It's not nearly as good. It's because of all the fat. The olive oil, fat is flavor. Fat makes it delicious. And she was like, "Oh my God." And like sent all these crying emojis. And then, and then I was like, "Is there anything else that you're doing that maybe you're is like a little out of the ordinary or that maybe you're forgetting to track?" And she's like, "Well, no, not that I can think of." Because I was like, if she's doing this, I guarantee you she's doing 20 other things that are super weird. And she's like, "Well, no, not that I can think of." And she's like, "Oh, wait, wait, wait. Actually, sometimes I go into the kitchen and when I'm like on a work break, I pass by the fridge and I'll just have like a little shot of whipped cream." And I'm like, "Okay, that's not that big of a deal. Like, how many times are you doing this?" And she's like, "Oh, probably like 3, 4 times a day." And I was like, "Are we talking about full fat whipped cream, like full fat, full sugar whipped cream?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh my God. Like you're what based on what I'm estimating here, you're not consuming 1,600 calories. You're consuming 22 to 2,500 calories a day." And she's like, "Holy shit." And then she had these other meals that were these meal prepped burgers that she was getting from this local meal prep place. And she sent me a picture of them, okay? She had these burgers tracked as 300 calories. These were not lean beef burgers. They were full fat cheese, mayo, cheese, everything on them. They were like 80-20 ground beef, something like that. These were probably 650, 700 calorie burgers because they had a lot of fat in them. And so now she's missing another 400, 500 calories from that. I'm like, you might be eating 3,000 calories a day. So not only are you not eating 1,600, I think you're eating almost double that.
Hmm.
And she made those changes. She got absolutely shredded. Within 4 months, she was shredded. I told her just make these changes and you're gonna start seeing shit fly. Within 4 months, she was shredded. So she just needed those eye openers. She needed somebody to just like take a deeper look at what was going on. And I feel like most coaches don't do that. They don't actually try to help their clients see the missing pieces of the puzzle. They're just like, "Oh, yep, scales down, good. Oh, waist measurements down, good." And if things aren't moving, they're like, "Okay, well, here's what you're doing well. You know, you got your steps in, you got this. Yeah, great job. Okay, see you next week." And it's like, no, the clients are paying you for results. If they're not getting results, you need to figure out why they're not getting results.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. there's a yeah, I think that story overall, I think both stories overall bring up a really good point that is I think happens a lot where it's not like, some listeners might be listening to this and thinking, oh wow, they were lying the whole time. Like I wouldn't say it's lying. I would say it's
No, yeah,
all right, like not in these specific situations, but maybe like 5% of the time it might be like, okay, genuine, like flat out, like lying. But I would say the majority of the time and the strong majority of the time, it's like a genuine unawareness around the fact of just the fact that they're doing it or how many calories um things have in them. Or yeah, it's just like unawareness or just like they don't even like it's such an ingrained habit, some things that they do that they don't stop to think twice that they're doing it. And how many,
yeah,
let's say in this context is food, so how many calories are in that specific thing. And I think, yeah, oftentimes like, and this could very well apply to the listener right now. I think it's just if you're struggling to make progress with fat loss, it's just I think you have to somehow build this awareness because like me and Jeff have been saying, starvation mode isn't a thing. If you're eating 1,200 calories, let's say, and you're swearing up and down, you're 100% consistent, it's been several months and nothing is happening, the scale weight might be even going up. Like you're not eating 1,200 calories.
yeah,
If
yeah,
anything, you might be like Jeff said, you could well be easily over like eating more than double that. It's just about trying to find out where those sneaky calories are coming in from. Is it extra sauces, liquids, alcohol, um, oil? I didn't used to track olive oil when I first started as well, and I used to think how much of a difference could it really make? Big difference. I later found out, um, yeah, there's a lot of ways like sneaky calories can come in from, and it's about trying to
yeah,
realize that to help make just keep progress moving forward.
yeah. I think also a huge thing is just using a food scale.
Yeah.
Like it's already pretty like tracking calories seems like super daunting, and breaking out a food scale and weighing out your food seems super obsessive, whatever. But the thing is like using measuring cups and tablespoons, it's just super inaccurate, and you can really cheat the system with those. Um, and eyeballing stuff, like it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You're not going to get an accurate calorie count. So you're better off just grabbing a food scale, doing it for a while to actually learn, okay, this is what a balanced plate of food for me should look like. And then you could try more intuitive eating later on once you've gotten to a point where you're comfortable with that, you're comfortable in your clothes, you're happy with how you look. I've been tracking my food on and off for, probably over 15 years. And I don't find it daunting. I find it super eye-opening. And when I'm in a fat loss phase, I'm going to be much more on top of my tracking. When I'm in a deficit or when I'm in a maintenance or building phase, I definitely will like get a little bit more loose with my tracking. But if I notice, hey, I'm going a little too overboard, then I'll reel it in and I might track more diligently. So, this year I'm gonna practice more intuitive eating and like really start listening to my hunger cues a bit more. But for me, like I really value getting that body weight in grams of protein per day. So for me, it's more so making sure my body gets all the nutrients that it needs than a body composition thing for me.
Yeah, I agree. And on that note, I think something I've like on the note of just nutrients, something I've really been trying to pay attention a lot more to because I would say the majority of 2023 I wasn't tracking calories. As you said, I'd also been doing it for so long that I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm just fine like not tracking because I'm no longer guesstimating. Like I've actually built up the skill of being able to recognize what portion sizes look like, and it is a skill, and that's why it's so
Yeah.
good to do for a while and just like practice it. Like you can't go into it like just never having like accurately tracked your food before and then expecting to be correct when you're in putting it into your calorie tracking app. And that's why like a phase of accurate like using a weighing scale and a measuring jug can be so good. But yeah, but then I got badly injured last year at a freak incident in jiu-jitsu. Couldn't walk for a while. Physical activity really went down. And then And then and then I went on a mini cart for like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, but by in November. But then Christmas came around and it was like the festive season in December, and then I was back home visiting everyone. So I'm not going to be dieting then. But now I've like,
Yeah.
with everything happening, I was like, it's time for me to get back in a calorie deficit this month, and that's what I've been doing. And I've been, back on the calorie tracking, back using a food scale, back using a measuring jug. Even for just like that recalibration, even though I've been doing it for so many years, and of just like reminding myself almost, because sometimes it's easy over time to start like slowly forgetting what a portion size
Yeah.
looks like. But yeah, and it's just that's just like as you said, what like just really works well, at least for me and you, and for a lot of people. I'm going to be sure when when you get into a fat loss phase and you really want to reel things in.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it definitely helps reel things in, and I've found for me that tracking calories is just like my baseline. It's kind of just like I'll go back to that if things start to get a little off kilter with my diet. And the holidays, December, November, those are times when my diet is like super, it's a lot more sugar, it's a lot more sweets, it's a lot more eating out, things like that. And I don't feel my best. It's more so for me these days, it's more so about like feeling my best and performing my best. Like I want to perform in high level sports. And so, like, for me, it's more so about feeling and performing my best than it is about looking a certain way. Um, and so that's kind of when I look at my nutrition that way, like what's going to have me perform and feel my best. That's when I can say no to the pizza. I can say no to the cookies. I can say no to this, that, and this because I know that that stuff is not going to help me feel and perform my best. And I'm not saying for the listener to turn down cookies and pizza and never say yes to delicious foods that they enjoy that make their life enjoyable because I'm not a fan of food as fuel. I'm not a fan of that. I think food is also culture, it's community, it's love, it's passion. Like coming from a chef background, like food is way more than just fuel for me. But when I'm thinking about like how do I want to feel, operate my best? How do I want my mind to be at its best in its most creative spot for me to be most efficient at work, to show up better on the pickleball courts, to show up better in the gym, to show up better from a mental health perspective? Then I know that the foods that are going to fuel me in those areas are going to be good, whole, nutritious foods that I personally enjoy eating and they're delicious. Blueberries are delicious, right? Oranges, grapes, watermelon, stuff like that is delicious. Broccoli to me is delicious. I can't believe I'm saying this, but like broccoli, onions, spinach, mushrooms, bell peppers, all these foods have so much flavor. Potatoes, so much flavor and so much nutrients in them. And they taste amazing. Steak tastes amazing. Chicken tastes amazing. Eggs taste amazing. So, and like the listener may not be at that point where they think that whole foods taste amazing. But when you start eating more whole, unprocessed foods, you start to develop a craving for whole foods and the way they make you feel and how good they taste. And fresh food is the best food. Like that's I really feel that way. I never like if I'm craving a cookie and then I have a cookie, it's like I just want another cookie. But if I'm craving a steak and I have a steak, I don't want another steak. Like I'm pretty good. So that tells me that there is like a satiety and like if you're craving a cookie, you might actually be craving something else. And so that's why like having a piece of fruit or having something sweet might be a good idea before you go for that cookie because you might actually be craving fruit and there may be some minerals or some vitamins in that fruit that your body is actually lacking that you may be craving. And your body's trying to tell you that by saying, I want a cookie. Your brain wants the cookie, your body maybe wants some fruit.
Yeah, I think, well, in regard to like, there's quite a few things I wanted to mention as well. Like, 100%, first of all, 100% agree that, food isn't just fuel, there's a lot more to it. For example, I literally on my last weekend, like my check-ins with my online members, which was literally earlier today, actually, this one of my online members, he's in a mini cut right now, but he was like, oh, like the other day, I couldn't be as consistent with my nutrition just because I was gifted a bakery class, like quite an expensive bakery class, and we were all making donuts. And obviously, I was going to, have some donuts while I was in this bakery class. And I absolutely loved that for him because number one, he's very consistent anyway. And number two, it's like I would hate to be in that position of having been gifted like this, like
Yeah.
expensive, really cool bakery class, make these amazing like homemade donuts with everyone, and just be like the only one there not enjoying what I've just made. Like time and
Yeah.
place, man, and like once in that, what what's the difference of donuts gonna be? I was like, yeah, just like of course, like I'm happy you enjoyed that if anything, and pretty much told him the same thing. Second of all, what you were saying about like you have a cookie, you want another cookie, you have a steak, you don't want another steak. Yeah, it just shows how like how well engineered, if that makes sense, these foods have been made. Like a lot of these just like just foods that you find in the store and you buy in like packets, time and place for them, but yeah, like a lot millions go into them, like millions of dollars into like engineering like just the most like type of food where it just like there's the right crunch, the right taste,
Yeah.
the way it melts in your mouth, the sound it makes when you bite into it, the flavor in like the first few seconds perhaps. Um and so much money goes into it, and then that's why like a lot of these like snacks like cookies, crisps, ice cream, that's why, as you said, and how a lot of people also feel like when you have one, you want another one because that's the way it's been
Yeah.
designed, because that's how they make money. Um, and that's why it's tough for a lot of people as well to, put it down, stop eating it. And that, that's definitely a factor to the obesity issue nowadays in the world. But I think realizing and understanding that as well, like that's what like multi-million dollar corporations or, yeah, are doing. I think
Yeah.
it only helps knowing that that is the case.
Yeah. I mean, when I was living by myself, I wouldn't have these foods in the house because I'd be like,
Same.
why even have the temptation, right? But like my girlfriend, she loves sweets. And so now like I have, for example, downstairs, I've got caramel corn, chocolates, cookies, cakes, scones, all kinds of stuff. And I have to navigate that, right? Because I'm not going to tell her, like, no, get these out of the house. Like, that's what she enjoys. And if you're somebody who maybe is newer on your fat loss journey and you're really struggling, like, you may need to create a boundary with your food environment. Where I'm at in my life is like, if I eat it, I track it. So if I'm gonna have a cookie, like, I plan it into my day and I track it. And if that means I'm lower on my protein today, that sucks, but tomorrow I'll plan around it better. And I'm not going to tell my girlfriend you need to get these foods out of the house. That's not fair to her. Um so yeah, I mean it's definitely been a little bit more challenging to be in a calorie deficit and for people out there with kids, it's going to be even more tough. Because
But
your
it's
kids are
possible.
gonna, yeah, because your kids are gonna be constantly pestering you to get this and get that. And guess what? In my house, when I was growing up, my parents never bought me desserts and sweets and stuff that I wanted in the house. And I'm almost a little bit like it was a good thing, but it was also not a good thing because I didn't learn how to just have one and like have them in the house and not always eat them.
Good point. I never thought about it like that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a very good point that I've not actually thought about before. Um, I want to be mindful of your time as well. We're almost an hour in. I've been, yeah, we're almost an hour in, and I want to be mindful. Was there anything else that you think that we, like out of everything we discussed today, that you maybe would have liked to have covered or added to, or maybe mentioned as well, that we could have discussed that we didn't?
No, man. I think go buy Leo's book. It's all in there.
Thank you very much. Yeah, um, yeah, every purchase helps the small business a lot. But yeah, Jeff, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, taking the time out. I know I rescheduled the time slightly a bit like a few days ago as well. So thanks for catering to that. And
Oh,
it was
good.
a fun chat. Truth be told, I had absolutely nothing planned with you for this chat when I came on today. Like usually I'll have a guideline. I don't like to ask like I don't like to have a pre-planned script because I feel like it always makes the podcast episode sound a bit
Yeah.
like unnatural, especially as I've built that
Yeah.
experience up, and I can just find it easy to talk. But I've been so busy, I didn't even have like any like just like a rough idea. But I was like, you know what, it's Jeff. I'm not gonna need one. Like, there's a few people I won't need one with, and and you're one. So yeah,
Yeah, dude,
yeah,
I like to talk. So so anytime you're like, "Hey, bro, I don't even want a topic, just have me on. We'll find something in there."
yeah. Where can people find you?
Jeff Pachtman Fitness on Instagram. It's the best place. I'm loading up the YouTube this year though, so that's gonna be the next goal is to get consistent on YouTube again.
Nice. Yeah, that's something I really want to do. But I think I'm going to focus on that in the second half of 2025 because right now I'm like going hard on my podcast at the moment.
Love it.
2 episodes a week, every week, Monday and Thursday,
Love it.
7 a.m.
Dude,
UK time. Trying to get them on YouTube as well. Trying to SEO optimize everything, timestamps, like see what I can do. And then that'll be my focus for the first half of 2025. And then I think in the second half, I'll pivot to one episode a week and then like go harder on YouTube.
that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
love it, man. Those are great goals.
I'm excited for your YouTube channel to continue growing. You've been
Yeah.
growing
Dude,
quite
I'm
a lot.
almost at what am I at? I'm almost at 3,000 subscribers.
Yeah, that's
So
solid start.
that's big for me because I've been on YouTube for a long time, but I haven't been able to get consistent on there. So I have been posting more shorts and then one long form video per week. But this first month has been tough because I've been launching a challenge. So once the challenge is launched, which today is actually the first day of the challenge, so the launch is over. So now I can get back to posting on YouTube consistently.
Nice. Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Enjoy that challenge. I know whoever signed up for it is in very good hands. I'm excited
yeah,
to yeah, this episode is I think gonna come out in about a week from now. So by then it would have been a week. But yeah, just listen to Jeff. You're gonna make good progress because you're in very good hands. And yeah, I think I mentioned this like very like just like a very much in passing on the sly. This was episode 200, so it was nice to have you on for a landmark episode as
yeah,
well. I think if I'm not wrong, I think it is episode 200. So yeah, it was nice to have episode 200 with you.
dude. 200 episodes is crazy, man. Good work on that consistency.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I mentioned I already said where can people find you, right? Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'll, you know what, I'll just like link your Instagram, your YouTube in the show notes of this podcast episode, so the listener can just click on there and not
perfect.
worry exactly how it's spelled, and the link will just take them straight to the platform.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, take care, Jeff. Thanks for coming on. I'll see you around.
Sounds good, bro. All right, man. Talk to you soon.